microphone. You know him. You love him. Josh DiDonato, ladies and gentlemen. Make some noise for your host, Matt Champagne. Make some noise for somebody finally took advantage of the beanbag. P.S. That's my favorite showbiz lingo. Make some noise. It's kind of a vague thing to ask a group of strangers, is it not? Right? When somebody asks you to make some noise, they're not asking you to make just any noise. There's like 2 or 3 culturally sanctioned noises. You know, applause. Woo! That's pretty much it. That's the gamut of the make some noise requests, I think. Maybe ow! Ow! But, thank you. But guys, I have a secret hope that one day I'll be at a show and somebody will say that from the stage and everybody in the audience will have never been to a show before. But they're all really groovy and open-minded and everybody just makes their own noise, man. It's not unusual to be loved by anyone. If somebody busted out Tom Jones unsolicited from the crowd, I think that I would take off my panties and gingerly toss them to that person. Which is why I wear women's underwear on stage every night, just in case. It's awesome. We got a really good crowd here. There are some seats left. I don't know if people are off doing drugs or whatever, but sometimes you like go to like if you're in a crowded bar and you say to somebody like, "Hey, is it cool if I sit here?" Sometimes people will say, "Go ahead, it's a free country," right?
It is.
And I was thinking, like, I wonder if when you go to other places, if there's an equivalent phrase. Like if you're in a bar in Syria, and you're like, "Hey, is it cool if I sit here?" If people ever say, "Go ahead, it's a dictatorship, nobody cares what you do. We'll probably all be murdered in our sleep one day, so take a load off, relax for now." Hey, what's up with helicopters are in the news again? The mayor's job, am I right? All right, I figured out recently I gotta lose a little weight, not a lot, but there's like a year straight where a bunch of people I met said, "Hey, you kind of look like Matthew McConaughey," you know, which is like, don't laugh at that. Which like you know that's like a nice thing to hear, but like I crossed some kind of line because a couple of comics around town have started calling me Fatty McConaughey, which hurts, you know, and it's good to cry sometimes. So I want to drop a few. I want to get back to like failure to launch era McConaughey, but you have to like pick a diet and like. There's all these different diets. I just started, like a week ago, I started the Special K diet. So every morning I have to eat a bowl of ketamine, and then I drink 6 ounces of absinthe, and then I don't eat anything for the rest of the day. Or I should say I don't remember eating anything for the rest of the day. Usually I'll trip really hard for an hour and a half, pass out for 10 hours, get up, weigh myself, pass out again. So it seems to be working. Ron Funches was talking about pot earlier, I think. He must have been, right? Okay. But, you know, pot is legalish now here in California, right? It's like pretend legal. It's like, come on. Right? And it's full-on legal in Washington and Colorado.
Yeah.
Yeah, which, well, and it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It doesn't really matter. Because if you love pot, you will find and smoke pot. That is like always been the case, right? Nobody's ever been like, "Oh, my friend gave me this joint for my birthday, but it's illegal." Whoa, flush. I want to be groovy, but the laws of the land are more important. Nobody's ever said that. But like, it's going to be full on legal all over in this country in the next few years. And the fascinating thing about that to me is that means that like in the future, like 15, 20 years from now, there are going to be parents who sit their kids down and say, you know, you kids have it so easy. When I was your age, when we wanted pot, we had to call a guy. We couldn't just go down to Costco and get a bunch. Sometimes we would have to wait 3 or 4 hours until we got our pot. Then we'd have to hang out with the guy. Have you ever sat and listened to an hour and a half of Dave Matthews covers on acoustic guitar to get your drugs? No. You haven't suffered for your drugs. There was no picnic. And you know how we used to have to do our pot? We used to have to smoke it. Yeah, we couldn't get it in a soda or a lip balm or a topical cream. Smoking is bad for you, Bobby. Don't you ever let me catch you smoking your pot. You eat it or drink it or rub it on yourself like everybody else. That is how we get high in this house, young man. If I find out you've been smoking your pot, you will lose your spaceship privileges. And when you want to take your robot girlfriend to watch a poor person get executed, you'll be on the bus, mister. It's the future in this show. Was that? Okay. At the last party, I was chatting with this woman, and she asked me if I had any brothers or sisters, and I said no, for I do not. And she said, oh, so you're an only child. And we don't like to be called that, guys. Just so you know, that is not the preferred nomenclature. Yeah, no, just it's hurtful. Think about that word only. Yeah, we had to do everything, you know. And just because my mom was a beautiful angel who only had sex the one time, so you're judging me, you know? Anyway, so we prefer to be called solo Americans. So that's, 5 minutes ago you were ignorant, you didn't know. And that's fine, but if you call me an only child now, that's a hate crime, okay? This is sort of a youngish crowd. I'm just curious. How many people here have ever been married by round of applause? Yeah? Still together? Oh, okay. Well, no. It's okay because I don't know if I should. I'm sorry to tell you this, but that's actually not a legal marriage. You can't be married by round of applause. You have to have a ceremony. If you were like being an awesome couple and some people clapped and you're like, oh, guess we're married now. No, sorry. So you were living in sin. It's a good thing you got out of that. Have you guys, anytime, have you seen the commercials for ChristianMingle.com? Guys, if you don't know it, it's a dating website for people who want a Christ-centered love relationship. Like most of us, I think, wish for that. Even us Jews, I think, want that. No. I mean, sometimes you get into a new relationship, you're like, this feels good, but, would an imaginary ghost hippie from 2,000 years ago sign off on this? That's an important question. Sometimes... Oh, and their slogan is find God's match for you on ChristianMingle.com. That's amazing, right? How did they get God for that gig? I just imagine God in front of his computer just like, cannot believe I agreed to do this. I'm really busy. All right. Let's see. Dave should go with Colleen, I guess. I don't know. I'm glad they're paying me for this. Just doing this till I get my shit together. Guys, my God voice needs work. You're right. It does sound a lot like my voice. It was a good call on your part. I wonder if people who meet on Christian Mingle, if they have premarital relations, do they get kicked off the site? I hope they do. Because, I want justice for my Christian brothers and sisters. In that way only, but let's start there. Wow. I did not imagine that would be the place where I would lose you. Speaking of Christians, I have this Christian friend named Laura who's like such a sweetheart. And so, sometimes, guys, I'll just like say the words Jesus Christ and not think about it. It's just not on my radar. I'll just say like Jesus Christ, it's hot out, and she just shakes and convulses, because it's her savior or whatever. And so I want to change how I talk around her and I'm sure there's some other Christians in this country somewhere. So I want to change how I talk in general, but I'm not ready to give up blaspheming, But you can't just say like, Buddha, it's hot out. Like, who would know what you were doing, right? So I came up with some ways to kind of switch it up a little bit, get the point across, like, Buddha's a rapist, it's hot out. Or, stab Muhammad in the eye with a knife made of pork, I'm tired. L. Ron Hubbard throats his own cock. You're good at Yahtzee, my friend. So, Lose this if you want. I'd like to address a linguistic tragedy that is occurring in this country. Guys, the word random. Okay, you hear me out now. The word random means only one thing. It means chosen arbitrarily, and that is it. That is all. It does not mean weird, okay? That movie was so random. No, it wasn't a series of flashing images. It had the same characters in the beginning, middle, and end. Random also does not mean generic or unimportant. She just hooked up with some random guy at the party. No, I think that he was probably in the top 50th percentile of attractiveness at the party, and you were probably in the lower 30th percentile of awareness. That is not random. Random also does not mean unexpectedly. I heard a comic a couple weeks ago saying, I got totally baked at my house and then my dad stopped by randomly. No, your dad was not walking through your neighborhood having no idea it was your neighborhood. And just saying like, I'm gonna knock on a door. How about this one? Hello, it's my son, you're high, what's going on? And random does not mean intermittently, once in a while. A friend of mine really did say this to me. She said, I just smoke randomly here and there. Okay, so you just like close your eyes and wrap your lips around things and sometimes it's a cigarette? Okay, fair enough. Last year I had a party and this woman I really liked came by. But it was kind of before the party got started and I didn't want to just like stand by the chips and talk to her, so I didn't know what to do, so I just gave her like the dumb tour of the house. And we got to my bedroom, and I pointed to my bed, but I could not remember the phrase, this is where the magic happens. So I just ended up saying, a lot of people get tricked right over there. Yeah, it's a lot of deception in that area. Watch out. All right, thanks so much, guys.
How about it for Josh DiDonato, guys? Yeah! Funny stuff.